Hey everyone, I'm Reverend Jim Keat, digital minister at the Riverside Church, and on this episode of The Word Made Fresh, we're asking this question. Blessed are who? Welcome back. Good to have you with us for another week, another episode, another lectionary Bible study video thing. First off, there's my house. What do you think? Nice little Airstream. If you didn't know, I make videos about living in an Airstream too.
We live in an Airstream. 200 square feet's bigger than it seems.
You can click the little thing. Where's it at? One of those corners. Just click on that, and then you can go see those videos too. But that's not what you're here for. You're here for the Word Made Fresh, where we talk about the lectionary and, all those good things. So this week we are looking at Matthew chapter 5, verses 1 through 12. This is the gospel lectionary text for Sunday, February 9th. So that's most likely the upcoming Sunday if you're watching this when it's put out. And here's what it says. This is Jesus talking. You might be familiar with this passage. Yeah, I think you are. But let's chat about it. Here we go. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up to the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him. Then he began to speak and taught them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." So there you have it, Sermon on the Mount, Beatitudes. Beatitude meaning blessed, so that's where we get all the blessed are the this, that, and the other thing. Now, a couple quick things to talk about, and then there's the question we said earlier, blessed are who, that I want us to dive in on. First, we see another version of this sermon in the Gospel of Luke, only it's not like just Luke's retelling of the same exact instance. It's Luke's retelling of another time Jesus told basically the same sermon, meaning Jesus repeated himself. He said the same thing in more than one place, which is the thing you should do if you got something good to say. You can't just assume that everyone heard it the first time. Sometimes you got to say it again and again and again. In marketing, they say it's like the rule of 7. People need to hear something 7 times for it to really sink in. And it seems like Jesus knew that, because in Luke, we see the Sermon on the Plain, flat land, and here, Sermon on the Mount. And they're kind of different, little variations, but they're basically the same thing. Blessed are this person, blessed are that person, blessed are you for, So just so you know, if you're thinking, wait a minute, I read this somewhere else. Yes, you did, because it's in Luke and it's in Matthew, and chances are Jesus said it a whole lot of times. This was kind of his stump speech. This was a good summation of what he was about in the world. And this is why. This is what I think is so cool about this passage. Now, I grew up thinking that this passage was telling me what I needed to do in order to be blessed. This was prescriptive. If you want to be blessed, then you need to be meek, or you need to be poor in spirit. That's the formula. Want to be blessed? Just do the thing Jesus said to do. Then I read a book, The Divine Conspiracy by Dallas Willard. I read this back when I was right out of undergrad, I think. So baby Jim. And it's stuck with me ever since. The book talks about Jesus isn't being prescriptive. Jesus isn't prescribing what you need to do in order to be blessed. Jesus is being descriptive. Jesus is on this mountain, or in Luke, he's on this plain. He is surrounded by people. His disciples are right there closest. That's how rabbis often functioned. And then there's the crowds, and he's looking at the crowd, and he sees people who are poor. And he says, "Blessed are the poor." He sees people who are persecuted. Blessed are the persecuted. He sees some Roman soldiers. Blessed are the peacemakers. Jesus is looking at the people there and calling them blessed. He's not telling them what they need to do in order to be blessed. He's telling them that they already are. And this is a big deal because in the first century ancient Near East context, there's an airplane. Because in the first century ancient Near East context that Jesus was in, and sometimes in our world today, there were certain kind of, I don't know, just cultural understandings of who was blessed and who wasn't. People who were blessed, well, they had all the money. They had all the status, the power, the privilege. They were the ones with the big houses and the good jobs and the 2.5 kids and all the things that you're supposed to have. Those are the people who are blessed. Everyone else, down on your luck, unemployed, underemployed, suffering with depression, addiction, all the things that make up human experience, well, good luck. But then Jesus comes in and says, actually, that paradigm of rich people equal blessed, poor people equal, Jesus goes, whoop, blessed are the poor. Rather than the people in power assuming they're blessed because they have the power, Jesus says those who are oppressed are blessed by God. Blessed are who? Jesus looks around and says, you. It's like his Oprah moment. You get a blessing. You get a blessing. So I want us to kind of just pause with that understanding of the Beatitudes, this descriptive rather than prescriptive understanding. Jesus isn't telling you what to do to be blessed. Jesus is simply identifying the people around him and declaring them already blessed by God. I want us to take that approach, and then I want us to ask the question, who would Jesus look at in our world today and tell them they are blessed? That's thing number one. Leave it down below. And then thing number two, what does it mean to be blessed? What does that word mean? I mean, someone sneezes, we say, bless you. If you're in the South, you might say, bless your heart. But what does it mean to be blessed? That's thing number two. Okay, we're going to dive into that in the comments. So just scroll down, typity-type, click, ding. And we'll be back with another episode of The Word Made Fresh in like 7 days, because that's how we do this. Okay, bye. Look at that cool bird. Hi, friend. Hey, look. I found nature.